Okay, our next exhibitor in the arena is exhibitor number 124. Comes into the arena nice and quiet, moving towards our first obstacle. Little hesitation in forward motion. One step backwards there causes one refusal. In a show ring, you're allowed the 3 refusals, and after that you are asked to move on to another obstacle. Got our second refusal there. The horse was not paying attention there for a second, drops his head down into the obstacle and still continues to refuse. During a show, that would be considered our third obstacle, asking a horse to move on. However, we are here in a training situation and would like to see that horse go through the obstacle, allowing us to give a score. There we go. Now we're entering the obstacle. Like to have seen that first because she had a really nice entrance into that obstacle, dropping his head nice, moving through an obstacle well. A nice strong drive up that little hill. Does a good job transitioning to having that horse sit down nice, coming down the hill. Comes around the back ditch really fine, does a good job. Because of the entrance, I'm only going to score her a 5 because of the refusals. I think she would do a lot better. If she was in a show, she would have scored a lot higher. Coming around and setting herself up for the logs, she does the passing under the logs. She does a great job coming under there, and I'm going to score her 9. As we enter the next obstacle, she enters square. Nice approach, super nice on the rocks going up, good step over, good control coming down, a little bit of a hop there. I'm still going to score her a 9. I think she did a fantastic job and probably one of the best approaches and entrance that we've seen so far today. Moves nice towards the next obstacle, covering ground really nice at her jog, does good clean movement. Approaches the gate really nice, comes in nice and smooth, gets her horse into the position. This being a tough obstacle, it makes it really hard. The horse doesn't so much want to go through the curtain going through that gate. It's a kind of a double obstacle. It gives you 2 different features within this obstacle. But she does keep control of the gate and doing a nice job. The horse is responding well. She does a good job keeping her control. Stepping back and stretching a little bit. Right there, she lost the gate. If she was in a show, I would be scoring her a 0, but she has fantastic control on that gate up until that point. So if she would have been able to close that gate a little quicker, she had a little bit more control on it. But all together, she did a good job on the beginning of this gate. Good control. If she was in a show without losing the gate the way she did, I would score her a 7 on that. Comes around to the next obstacle, enters really well, nice and center. The horse has great attention to the obstacles, really watching and looking where she needs to do the foot placement. For as short-legged as this horse is, she does a fantastic job coming over those logs. Horse paying a lot of attention. The handler is inviting that horse, having to get that horse into the center just a little bit. She needed to use more leg and less rein there, but she did a fantastic job on the poles. I'm going to give her a 9. Coming over the rocks, she did a great job. A little bit of a hop there coming out the end. I'm going to score her an 8. This is a nice quiet handler. She does really well with her reins. We just need that horse to come off of the leg just a little bit more and use the leg to keep that horse centered within an obstacle. Little hesitation there moving towards the next obstacle, but it's not in a scoring section, so it's all right that she does have that hesitation. She positions herself well for the next obstacle. A little bit of break and forward motion there. Horse is willing. You can see that in the face. Does a nice job. Again, handler's having to overdrive just a little bit on those reins. I'd like to see it come off the leg, but she did a nice water obstacle. I'm going to score her an 8. steps down into the ditch well, trying to come out there on that ditch just slightly on that turn. Comes around, drops her head into the obstacle, starts paying attention, good strong drive out of the obstacle. She does a really nice job. And I'm going to score her a 6 there. If that horse wouldn't have been trying to step out that side there, she could have scored a lot higher. Brings herself around, positioning herself well for the next obstacle. The horse is very willing. You can see the submissiveness in that horse's eye. Nice, dropping the head is really nice coming through those obstacles and over the log. She does a great job. I'm going to score her a 9. Comes around and approaches her first bridge. Horse is nice and quiet, very level. Does a great job coming over the bridge, and I'm going to score her an 8. Switchback, nice strong drive from the rear end, good and slow and collectively. I'm going to score her an 8 on her switchbacks. I think she did a good job there. On our pause, we had a slight hesitation. Then we started to move forward just slightly before, not quite the 5 seconds. I'm going to score her a 7. I'd like to see her stand just a slight tad longer. Coming down the hill, she does a really nice job sitting back and being in control. Comes around, sets herself square for the next obstacle. However, just a slight break in forward motion. Came off a little bit to the side there, having to overcorrect the horse. Comes onto the obstacle nice with hesitation. Had a little break of motion approaching, a little bit of break going onto the obstacle. However, followed through well, came out well. I'm only going to give her a 6 for that obstacle. She comes up onto the platform well. Nice strong drive coming up onto the obstacle. I'd like to see that a little bit more controlled. Positions herself for the 360. I'd like to have seen her start a little bit closer to the center than what she did. She did a nice 360 though. Coming off, it wasn't good. She just had a little bit of crookedness there. I'm going to score her a 7. Coming up over the steps, she does a nice job positioning herself. Just a little bit rushed coming off of the back of those steps. But I'm going to score her a 7 there too. Approaches the water well, good expressiveness in this horse's eye. Handler is allowing her to have her head move through the obstacle. Slight hesitation coming in, a little bit rushy coming out, but she does a great job, and I appreciate the look that horse gave me, and I'm going to score her a 7 there. She comes around and positions herself for the next obstacle. This back through is a tough obstacle. So positioning yourself is a little bit more important than a lot of these obstacles because you're having elevated obstacles, elevated walls for this obstacle, which makes it really hard to back into something when a horse is feeling claustrophobic. But she does get into the obstacle, it's just that she's a little bit off to the side. I want to see her a little bit more centered and clean that up just a little bit. We had a pause there and break of motion. I'd like to see that horse moving fluidly back. Rider has a lot of patience and determination to get this horse through the obstacle. And once this horse starts to listen, I think that this horse is very willing to do its job. There's just a little bit of teamwork that needs to go on here. The handler knows what she wants, the horse knows what she's willing to do, but coming together and making it happen is the only thing. Right there with that dip in that corner, that's I believe the reason that horse comes off of that and slams into the back end of that, because you are going into a hole going down, which knocks the horse into an off-balance situation. She does the right thing by correcting the horse, bringing it forward just a little bit, pausing and allowing that horse to get back underneath itself. She needs to use that leg just a little bit to swing that horse's hip around. She's not quite using that leg enough, and I'd like to see her using it a little bit more. She comes back to center, starts approaching the last part of this obstacle. She does a good job communicating with her horse. She does a good job. I'm only going to give her a 6. The beginning of it, I want to see her clean it up. I think she did a good job, and I think that she should be a competitor in our next trail. Thank you.